Alright, so for my creative project, I wanted to talk a little bit about mainstream images of transgender people in just common television is mostly what I'm going for. So it seems to me like they all kind of sort of follow the same path line, which is this. A trans person meets a straight or non-trans person. It depends on the situation. Generally, the person is straight, though. They go into this big reveal, which ends in the person, like, blowing up and getting really angry. And then, eventually, that person learns the woes of their ways and moves on to accepting the person for who they are. And in some cases, either becomes friends with the person, or in other cases, not so much, but really depends on the situation. So two of the things I want to look at is Nip Tuck, which we were talking about in class today, which one of the main character's sons ends up hooking up with a transgendered male to female without knowing, and then proceeds to, when he finds out, beat up this woman. And afterwards, a bunch of trans people fight him and beat him up, and it's just a really complicated, long storyline, but basically in the end, he becomes friends with this person because they go through this horrific experience together, and he asks his father to do the operation pro bono for this person. The other one I want to look at is the L word, which has caused a lot of uproar in the trans community, as I found out when I was searching YouTube videos for some of the stuff to put in here. So, as some of you may know, there's a character named Moira, or Max, who is a female to male trans person. And the problem with this is, yes, they go through like the typical storyline, which I just discussed. He meets this co-worker's daughter. They like seem to be falling for each other, and then when she finds out that he is trans, she like blows up and kind of totally disowns Max before becoming like accepting of it, and they don't become friends as in the other case of Nip Tuck, but needless to say, she understands that this is a problem and that she needs to be more accepting in her life views. So when I was looking through YouTube videos, I came across actually one of the first things when I typed in like L word Max was this video of these two trans people, and they were discussing how they were angry at this portrayal because it was so negative and just really didn't like take into account, like, I guess really anything that they had ever experienced, or even if they had, it only took into account the negative aspects of that. So they were pretty angry about that. Some of the things they said were, in Max, when Max decides that he's first going to like go through this with his sex change, he starts taking hormones that he gets kind of under the table. He gets them from this random nightclub worker, and the nightclub worker's just like, here's the needles and take these, like, it'll do what you want it to do, and doesn't really tell him anything, and it's extremely unsafe. And I think one of the reasons why they were so angry at this is the L word is kind of different in terms of television, because it's really one of the only like totally queer, not cast, but like it focuses on queer community as opposed to just having queer characters in a heteronormative setting. So they have the chance to really talk about a lot of things that other television shows don't. And so I think that they would have liked for them to really take time and care into their transgendered portrayal, because it's just like, the issue is that there's a lot of people that are watching the L Word to kind of, I wouldn't say learn, but like see what other people are doing, or like just see on a mainstream, just very open public space. I think they believe that this should kind of be a learning place, or at least a sharing space for people to like openly kind of show and display or discuss these topics. Overall, I just think it's really important for mainstream media to be careful when treading into transgender issues. I think that, yes, it is a really important thing to make sure that these things are shown in mainstream media, but I think that they need to be illustrated in a very careful manner, because generally they're not shown in too great of a light, in my opinion. And I think it's something that if we change the way it's shown in popular media, we could change the way that people think about these issues in their day-to-day life. Maybe that's a stretch, but I'd like to think so. Maybe I just think that media has too much of an effect on the way people think. But yeah, if we continue to show these poor representations, there's a chance that trans people can feel ostracized from communities, especially I know in the L Word, the issue has come up that people feel ostracized from the gay and lesbian community because of these reactions that people had, and they thought that the gay and lesbian community would be more accepting because of many other circumstances, but it's just really important to watch how these things are developed as storylines, and I think that as we progress into the future, these issues will come to light more often, because it is a big issue. They'll come to light more often in mainstream media, and I'm just hoping that they can do so in a positive light.